This is round 4 of the league. I'm going first, playing StifleNought. I have 1 land plus an opt, so it is keepable. Right, Ireland to go. Anarch our ways. Premodern Sergeant. Okay. That's probably a good sign. If it were land still, it would probably be a lot more difficult. Anyway, let's put that in the bottom, and ooh, I don't have my second land. Well, guess I'm just ending the turn. Hopefully they, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to keep my stifle, but if they break a flood strand, I'm probably going to stifle it. Premodern Sergeant is somewhat inconvenient because it can get whip quarter. That's something I have to keep in mind. This would be a very good matchup, too. There's a second one. The second adds little value, I think. This would be a great matchup for Curse Totem in the sideboard, but I do not have it. Though I do have a couple power kegs, so hopefully I can get by with that. There we go. All right. Do I go for it immediately? I think that waiting does not favor me. Not with those sergeants in play. Going for the swords. I am going to gush that. Or, sorry, gush into foil. I will discard my extra chain. Hopefully they have no further resistance. Yeah, what I need is for them to not have another swords, and ideally to not have another land. Because the land would let them get whip quarter. Okay, so they have the land at least. What are they doing with this? Whip. Oh, they're just playing it. That was actually a lot riskier than tutoring it up. Because if I had another foil, I could have stopped it. A search would have been unstoppable and strictly better. Okay, so I'm going to play Island once the lag cuts out here. Let's get rid of the browser just to speed things up. There we go. Okay. Move to the attack. And yeah, if this puts them at 3, then even regardless of my ability to find a stifle, they need to find a white source that doesn't take away a substantial... there it is. I was going to say, that doesn't take away a substantial portion of their life total. My window here appears to be fairly narrow. I really didn't want them to find a plains. At least I got my island. So move to attack, and they are going to tap it. Can't do anything about that, unfortunately. This is certainly a second whip quarter, I would think. I wonder how many they play. On the upside, at least they can't do 2 whip quarter activations. And actually, they're kind of reckless attacking with one of them. That gives me an opening. At least an apparent opening. Okay, I think just an island here. Opt. Okay. So I'm going to move to my attack. Going to impulse. What's the card I want most here? Is it Portent or Foil? Probably Foil. Yeah, Foil definitely seems right. Then I'm going to Gush. I think it's probably necessary, unfortunately. And there's my Stifle. Good. So I use the Stifle with Foil backup. And we'll see what sort of resistance they can put up. Prohibit. All right, I will attempt to counter that. All right, they're conceding. What a relief. Okay. So yeah, I guess with Prohibit being their counter, they couldn't have done two activations because they need to make the blue. So I guess the Adarkar Waste did sort of meaningfully impact them in the end. It's pretty weird that they drew 4. That was lucky on my part. Okay, so they're probably going to have a creature in play most of the time. They're definitely playing swords. I want Misdirection for that reason. Mishra's Factory seems to help me. It's really good defense, at least I hope. What else do I take out here? I could get rid of Chain. That does leave me vulnerable to... I mean, I assume they must be playing Meddling Mage, at least in some capacity. I'd be surprised if they didn't have 4. I do have Powder Keg, which is obviously a much more desirable card to answer it with. I can't just immediately replay it, and I can play it when I have my own Dreadnought in play, and on and on. Is there anything to be said for the Parallax Tide plan here? I think I probably just want to force through a Dreadnought. That feels correct. I would have to not just put the tides in, but also find room to get the chains back in, and I just don't like what that does to my deck. So I'll submit that, and we will see how it goes. Oh, and actually, yeah, in that last game, it did cost them the game because they wouldn't have had to counter with Prohibit my Stifle if they could just do another activation, and I didn't have another Stifle, so yeah, they probably would have won that. Though it's easy to overlook. This, I guess I can keep. This does seem like a pretty challenging matchup. At least as far as like white mid-range decks go. No turn 1. That's helpful. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to hope they don't have Meddling Mage. I mean, it can still opt past the redundant Gush and then hopefully find another land, but yeah, this turn is going to be pretty important because I'll have double foil protection. They're really in big trouble if they don't. Yeah, they didn't force foil, but I guess they could effectively amount to the same thing if they played something during my turn and then untapped and did more stuff. I don't know. It's not really worth spending all the thought on. So yeah, this looks like a good window. I'm gonna go for it. Regular old disenchant. Oh, I have to play the gush first, of course. 1 and 2. Another dreadnought. Okay. I will discard island, of course, and I guess the impulse is the one I want least. Yeah, that feels right. Okay, they just ended the turn. That's a big relief. Play my island and portent myself. If they had something, it would have made sense for them to do it on their own turn. And actually, I'm going to keep that. Any order I think is appropriate, and yes. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have shuffled. That was a big mistake. I'm going to attack. Yeah, that might cost me the game. I was thinking too, yes, do I keep it? But that's not what it was asking. Hopefully that's just it. All right, that is it. Big relief. Okay, another one down.